Hey everybody, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program RP-0, the mod suite for the realism overhaul setup of mods for Kerbal Space Program. And I am super disappointed. MechJeb screwed us, or maybe my continued attempts to get the RSRVE or the RVE mods working has screwed up a bunch of stuff. This is the Mars probe that we launched last time. I came out to set up its mid-course correction, or rather to check on its mid-course correction, and I discovered that it is not going anywhere near Mars. Nowhere near. Somehow it's ended up on this orbit, which is actually slower, closer to a Venus orbit than to a Mars intercept, and the required maneuver to get even a tiny intercept with Mars is way out of our budget. 4,946.3 meters per second. This chart here reflects the the probe stage being locked, but even then it only has about 300 meters per second on its own. So that's like more than double than what we have. So needless to say, this little guy is not going to Mars. I'm not even going to attempt to make that burn. And sadly, our Mars window is gone. And, well, I guess I'll just go back and show you. In my attempts to get clouds working, I don't know what happened. Something with contract configurator, which is I never messed with, never touched any of the files for, never screwed with it at all. But it made me continually fail a sounding rocket high contract that I knew I had and I thought would have been completed with the moon mission or this Mars launch, but for some reason wasn't. And in that repeated failure of that contract, it pretty much destroyed all of the money. This 110,000 that I had now is because I took a contract to do an uncrewed lunar orbiter mission. But before that, I had about 10 grand. Luckily, before that happened, I queued up 3 KR-1 series rockets. This LSIV is going to be the Lunar Surface Imaging Vehicle. So creative, I know. But we'll have one of those ready to go in about 68 days, at which point we will attempt that mission. And hopefully save us from going bankrupt, because we are very, very certainly going to fail the... we're certainly going to fail the Mars flyby, which is going to hit us for 206,000, and the Venus flyby, which will hit us for 225,000. So with every flight that I finish, I'm going to be ordering rockets in the queue, because they can't take away money that I've already spent. But we are certainly going to be super broke here very shortly. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get this rocket completed and get it rolled out to the pad, and then I will see you guys when we're there. Alright, and so here we are out on the pad with our KR-1, and we have already pretty much waited until our relative inclination is approaching something somewhat happy here. I'm gonna time warp a little bit and just get it a little bit closer. The mission plan for this is to fly this film canister out to the moon, achieve orbit, and then bring it back home on a free return and test its re-entry capabilities on a heat shield, as I intended to do several episodes ago, but failed miserably due to battery failure. So here we go. Alright, let's peg the throttle. SAS is on, and the ignition. Gracefully rub off the tower. Not like that. Stop thinking such dirty thoughts. And proceed skyward. A little bit early on ignition. Ignition is good. Just make a few more further adjustments there. Quite a pretty shot, and I let the relative inclination get away from me. Of course I did. I was paying too much attention to the cinematics. Steering losses and bearing SIP. There's our payload. Very similar to the previous version, although instead of using the Delta core like before, is that the Able core? I'm using a combination of 4 of those early probe cores because they have a lot of battery life and they're pretty efficient as far as battery usage is concerned, so they can be sustained on these incredibly chintzy solar panels that we are going to inevitably lose during re-entry. But that's a whole lot of not my problem. So, yeah, then there's that. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead until our next stage set. So, just to save some time on this recording, I will see you all in just a minute. Alright, and here we are coming up on our second stage cutoff. Just a few more seconds. Really kind of like messing with the camera angle like this. Sorry if it looks weird over there on the right hand side, but something like that that kind of makes it worth it. Alright. Now we're really pushing. But I need to go ahead and pitch up a bit. I'm just going to have to eat some of these steering losses. I think I've aimed a bit too low. Our time to apogee is a little close for comfort. But, you know, these things do happen. So anyway, y'all have seen pretty much the rest of this. I will join you when we're about to make our circularization and then our transfer to the moon. Alright, and we're coming up here on our stage 3 cutout. And all in all, everything's looking pretty well. Our time to apogee is pretty reasonable for our next stage. Fuel consumption and really where I thought everything was going to be is pretty nominal. Although I keep forgetting I lose avionics control on this section. And I seem to have incurred a little wiggle. I should remember to turn on the RCS to help mitigate that, but I'm sure we'll have control back by the time we reach orbit. Any second now. I would like to pitch down so that I'm not making this go way too high and thus my apoapsis way too high. There we go. Unlocking avionics. Here we go. Alright. Now we can start to angle it in a bit. It's good. Looks like we're going to have lots of fuel left over for our transfer to the moon, which is perfect. Just because that's driving my ADD nuts too. I have to adjust the roll. I think we're actually going to have more fuel on this than we did with any of our interplanetary missions that were super failures. I guess that's what I get for trying to go places with no comms connection in 1956. And orbit. 270 by 168. Nowhere near circular, but hey, it's something. Alright, and whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. Now the upper stage RCS has been turned off. Yeah, our current draw is 0.41. We're going to see how much of that we can mitigate with a little angling. Certainly nowhere near all of it, but we've got that Agena package down there that is quite costly. Alright, there's that. Let's plot for the moon. So this may be another case where I may not need that SRB, but for maybe a braking burn, that would be kind of neat. Add maneuver. No, maybe. Alright, I do have to get into an orbit, and I think I have to be lower than 5 kilometers. I love how it does that. Here's an encounter with a wild effect on our trajectory, and then suddenly there's no encounter with any effect on our trajectory. That is just brilliant. Alright, the burn is in 44 minutes. It is at night. 1 second. Ambient light adjustment. I will be toying with that when we get around to the dark side of the planet. Oh crap, are we going to have connection when we get there? Oh yeah, there's ground stations all over the place. And we've got a satellite link up. How cool is that? Alright. Ambient light adjustment. Ah, would you look at that? Now we can see stuff at night. This is excellent. Oh, it's time to start the burn. Ruh-roh. Facing entirely the wrong direction. Of course we are. Go ahead and just start our ullage, stable, light them up. Now we're talking. Said nothing corrects like a good gimbal. And let's just lay on the pedal here. Whoa. Rotation mode. Yes. Yes, I am in rotation mode. How much delta V do I have in the stage? 16. Alright. Yeah. That's about normal. It's not quite going to get us there, but it'll do a bulk of the heavy lifting for us, which is nice. That AJ-10 stage has more than enough, I think. Yeah. 2172 plus 2167 in the SRB. And we got a little bit more thanks to an RCS pack built on the package itself to do fine-tuning and course adjustment. Just a little bit brighter. That look better. Oh, that's nice and fairly lightweight. Ooh, the moon looks really pretty. Nice red little orb out there, catching just barely light past the sun, or past the Earth. Sorry. It is now kind of late at night, and so. And after this super series of disappointments with the Venus and the Mars Rangers, that I'm feeling a little downtrodden and dejected here. Like, man. That was, those were unpleasant findings and just missions I had a lot of hope for that are obviously just not going to pan out for us. And that makes me sad, that we're going to lose a lot of money too. And that's going to make things exceptionally harder for stuff our space program wants to do in the future. But difficult does not equal impossible. 9 units of hydrazine. What are we looking at in fuel? So we may actually run out of RCS propellant before we run out of fuel. And that would be new, to say the least. But all we really need to do is get to the moon, capture at the moon, and then come home. 2 active contracts, one for lunar orbit and one for successful re-entry. I don't know if the successful re-entry part is going to work. I don't know if this heat shield is going to be well enough rated for a free return from the moon, but that's why we're doing stuff like this, is to find out. Because, you know, science. Alright, RCS is empty. Switch back to staging mode as we're coming on stage cutoff. There it is. Stage ignition. Light is good. Let's get back into docking mode and lay on the pedal and get these RCS thrusters to do some of this work. There's a significant delta V savings for running through some of this RCS. And just like in the moon mission, although with this mission I've left this booster fully fueled, for the moon landing I drained it, I want to say halfway. I could be wrong on that. Maybe it was a little more, or a little less, or something greater than half. But this time it's full loaded for bear. I guess my assumption is that this would be enough to get us to the moon and get us into orbit, and that we would need this to get home. Which I may or may not have been wrong on, because again, while this is firing, we will have 0 attitude control. It's just wherever it ends up. So if it's too much or too little or somewhere in between, we just get what we get. And what's the delta V on that? 2167. Just have to remember 2167. Alright. Says we got 2 more minutes left in this burn. That's kind of ridiculous. Oops. Well, it's not all bad, right? Well, let's look at the good news here. We can see at night, and my voice isn't being drowned out by loud-ass rocket engines, so I'd say that things are getting better. No, they're not. This career mode is probably going to be a failure. It's probably going to wash and end in embarrassing bankruptcy, with nothing but a little derpy probe on the moon to show for it. Alright. Last 500 meters per second of this burn. I think that estimation is off. There's no way it's been a solid minute. It's crazy. Alright, I should probably lay off that pedal a bit. I guess I didn't really have to. Let's check the map, see where we're at. Since my plan is to capture, my initial angle doesn't really matter a whole lot. In this particular instance, I'd be coming in on the wrong side of the moon. But again, hitting orbit is the goal, so then I can declare my own exit point and plot my own course for home. Which, having never sent anything back from the moon at this stage in this career playthrough, I'm not really sure. Shut down. Oh, 1.1 meters per second off. It's still a capture, and it's our necessary periapsis. I'm gonna run with that. Go ahead. Lock our hydrazine for the time being. We need to get around to the light side and then reorient into the sun. Very pretty sun flare. And we'll do our capture and our science in the next episode. So thanks for hanging out and telling me not to cry. And that we'll pull through this together. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see y'all next time.